Next into the tank is a way to experience some of life's dark mysteries.
Hi, Sharks. My name is Mike Huberty.
And I'm Allison Jornlin.
And we're asking for $250,000 for 15% of our company.
Can ghosts make you rich?
September 24th, 1869, the first Black Friday. The price of gold collapses. The United States stock market is devastated.
Except for one tycoon who anticipated the disaster and came out on top.
Cornelius Vanderbilt.
Because he had a secret.
He was living with a psychic medium who would hold seances in his house and ask the spirits what the future of the stock market might hold.
When asked how other business leaders could experience similar success, Vanderbilt said,
"Do as I do." Consult the spirits. Sharks, it's real haunted history like this that inspired my sister and I to found American Ghost Walks. Deeply researched history tours of beautiful locations with haunted pasts.
Our tours are entertaining presentations of remarkable facts so that even non-believers have a wickedly good time.
So, Sharks, Cornelius Vanderbilt knew that ghosts could make you rich. So who's ready to consult the spirits and join American Ghost Walks for some real ghost stories and real spooky fun? What is...
Well, first off, that is a story that I had never heard before. That is, assuming that that's real. I mean, they're the ones doing their research, right? That is pretty awesome. Anyway, welcome back to another Shark Tank Business Review. I'm Joe Pardo. We're here, super entrepreneurs. We're doing it. This is the last video of the night. Last night for Luigi and all the crazy Halloween stuff. We're going to okay. So I'm really curious as to where what the 250,000's for, how big they've already been able to scale, what the sales look like. Now, I do got to give a shout out to a friend of mine. It's not sponsored or anything like that. And I forgot to mention in the last video where I talked about Terry Hardin, not a sponsorship or anything like that. Just giving shout outs to friends of mine that I've met, become friends with over the years. A friend, Michael Wolf, runs Augusta Adventure Tours. Go check out Augusta Adventure Tours. If you're in Augusta, Georgia, he does a phenomenal job of sightseeing and just everything from ghost tours to all kinds of other tours. So he's doing it. He's been doing it for years. Is very well known. There's Michael right in there. Just wanted to give a shout out to a friend I've known for closing in on a decade at this point. So anyway, yeah, it's a neat idea as long as it's profitable for them to be able to offer such things and be able to do that research, and it's scalable for sure. We did something. Well, my wife. This is more up my wife's alley than mine. I'm not big on the whole ghost stuff myself, but we did do a train tour where we had like these carts on a train tracks that were no longer in use anymore down in Cape May, New Jersey, where we got to like pedal a train car effectively down like 2 miles, and at the end they got off and they told us a couple of stories involving some of the ghost stories of the train tracks there, as well as some World War II stories about how there's they caught 7 U-boats off of during what was it, World War I or World War II? I think I would say it was World War II off of the coast of Cape May, and kind of crazy because it's like this little like waterway that whatever the term for that little waterway is, that you would go through, and they were able to catch like U-boats and stuff like that. And that might have been World War One. I don't quite remember at this point, but anyway, it's really cool. Revolution Rail, I believe, is what it's called if you're ever down in Cape May, New Jersey. Anyway, we're going to feature their website, social media at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that, as well as one of your comments from down below in the super community.
Your business, it's tours or it's virtual? It's live, guided, haunted history tours.
Now we're in 7 states and Puerto Rico.
How many people do you have giving the tours? We have about 32 employees.
Wow.
I thought you guys were a joke. You have a real business here. Are the tour guides, are they playing a part or are they just very neutral and explaining a story?
Great question.
The tour guides are people who are engaged and love the paranormal. Almost every horror movie that we make, there has to be one authority. The audience, at least, has to believe that this person is an authority and really believes in the paranormal. So the casting of your tour guides is extraordinarily important, I would imagine. Which is why we hire people who have a passion for this already. It's people who already had an interest in true crime and ghost stories, and they were doing this already for fun and taking their friends around. We write a script, do the research, find the stories. Like in Los Angeles and Chicago, it's easy. There's a ton of public spaces. You got buildings that have been around for 100 years that have history, that have ghost stories. You go right in front of them. Some of the smaller towns are exciting because you're finding stories that nobody else has. How long has the business been going on and how much are you making? Allison started in 2008 in Milwaukee, and then I started in Madison in 2010. Started a tour in Minneapolis. Next year was St. Paul. Next year was a vacation town.
Were they all equally successful?
No. All these are cities in the north. What do you do in the winter? No. Well, in the wintertime, a lot of them closed down. But so in 2020, Minnesota and Wisconsin are our only states. So we made $92,000.
Made means profit or grossed when you say 92,000?
That is gross.
That's you grossed 92,000.
And so then we grossed in 2021 when we added Illinois. $392,000.
How much did you spend?
Ooh, that's
how
a
much
lot.
You grossed?
We spent, so it was $392,000. We spent $300,000.
Wow.
So you made $92,000 profit.
Correct.
Right. Continue. What about now?
2022, we moved to $546,000.
What was the net of 2022?
Net of 22 was negative.
Negative. Okay.
So-
how much did you lose?
We lost $42,000.
Got it.
We reinvested in the business that year, so that's when we spent money buying a tour in Chicago.
You bought one that existed. That's interesting.
Yes. Acquisitions are
Fascinating.
very important in this business.
How much did you spend on the acquisitions?
About $115,000.
What's your projected gross in 23?
I mean, look, that's one way to go about getting people who are, there's always so, like they said, the problem is trying to find the right people for that position. It's very specialized to find people who can speak with authority, people who believe in the stories that they're telling, people that come off, customer friendly, understand customer service, and can really have a connection with their audience. So it's hard. So to be able to buy a tour for $115,000, that's an investment, but you're gaining those couple of employees, you're gaining that foothold in that area, and you're taking out competition without having to try to out muscle that competition, especially if there's only so many people looking for ghost walks in a specific city at a specific time. Probably closer to the Halloween time, Halloween time of year. Not that people aren't doing it in other times of the year, but that's probably your best bet. With that, and with that said, like it might be better. I'm curious as to what the vacation areas are, because you constantly have new people coming in that are looking for something new to do or something to do, and you're there, right, with the ghost walk, walking tours, that it should be a relatively profitable, because it's scalable. Like you could have, if it's a public space, you could have 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 50 people show up for a tour. And if you could book, say, 1 to 3 tours a night, it might be a little tough, but an 8 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, and a midnight, like that, not all the time is going to probably be the midnight one, but you might be able to get a lot of maybe 8 o'clock, or when it gets darker earlier, maybe 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, maybe a midnight one once in a while.
We're projecting about $650,000.
And what's your projected spend in 23?
$600,000.
Right.
Wow.
So
it's
right
a
now,
tiny profit. And are you guys doing this full time?
oh, we quit our jobs.
We quit our jobs.
this is it.
We're full-time professional weirdos.
How much are you pulling out of the business right now?
I budget, and when I see the bills, I pull out enough to pay the bill.
Because you're talking about bringing in an investor, they got to pull something out too, right?
Absolutely.
You got to wet your beak on a deal.
Well, they're in a growth. They're in a growth
Right,
stage.
we are definitely. Thank you, Jason, for saying that.
You're
We're in a growth position right now.
Is that a different way of saying you can't make any money?
No.
No.
It's saying that we've invested in acquisitions and we've made that money back, and now we've discovered a scalable business model that we want to take nationwide. But
it's
that's not the limit.
I get it. I get the model. It's a service business.
Right.
But really, you want to be profitable.
Well, let's talk about cruise excursions next, because we've broken into the cruise market. That's where we're going to see.
The haunted cruise?
Yeah.
Guys, I desperately wanted to have a successful production company. The first movie we ever did, which was Paranormal Activity, and I thought after we had that movie, I'm gonna do low budget horror movies and nothing else. And I was lucky. I had that success when I was 35 years old. If I was 20, I would have said, I want to make the next Transformers. I want to make a big expensive. I said, I want to do nothing but low budget horror movies. And that's how I grew my business to what it is today. And what I hear is that you're spread way too thin. You guys are not spending enough time on what you have. And if I give you one piece of advice, is to try and focus on the assets that you have and make them more profitable before you take in outside money or before you spend more money. In any case, and for those reasons, and I wish you the best of luck, I'm out.
Wow,
I think it's
really
fun.
thought he was gonna be in there. I thought this would be right up his alley. You put his star power behind it, and all of a sudden you have an opportunity to to make it into something bigger than what it is. They've found a way to make it scalable. Money, right? So money speaks, right? Money talks, and that money, they're not really making that money. What they didn't get into is how successful are the ones that are successful versus the ones that are not successful. And just because they go in and buy, they're buying up walking tours in a particular city, does not equate to it necessarily going to be that successful for them, and or maybe that successful is a relative term. You have to define what success is in everything, in anything, right? Define what success is and then go from there. Being in a position where these are what my bills are and this is how much money I can take out to meet my bills and my bare minimum needs, and you're doing $655,000 in a year. You got to look at what are you doing for advertising? Are you doing enough guerrilla marketing? Are you doing enough to not have your expenditures go crazy and or trying to expand beyond your potential means? This can be a business just for you. My friend Michael Wolf has made it. He did it for somebody else with the Ghost Trolley tours in Augusta, and then that closed up, so he went and founded his own, and that was like I said, around a decade ago. Which more power to Michael. And if you're watching, I know I'll send this video to you, Michael, so you don't have to worry about it. If you're not watching, he might actually, but that being able to do it in a small scale does not necessarily equate to being able to do it at a large scale and do it profitably. And that's what you really have to consider when you're chasing those dollars, right? I always go back to, are you treadmilling on zero? You might be making all this money, but at the end of the day, you're still coming up with a big goose egg because you're just cycling money through. And that, it's fine, but when you're thinking about how long can I realistically work, and what kind of money will I need for a retirement at some point? Treadmilling on zero is great for a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 to 5 years tops as you're in that growth mode. Or if you're making so much money that you're you know what, just take my needs are more than being met. We're paying people. We're doing the things we need to do. in the business. We're not hurting for money. We're going to take that extra money and invest it into other, buying other businesses up. Like, you could do that. But when you're doing that to just grow to be, unless your plan is to sell it to somebody else who is going to probably have some of the same problems that you have, it's still probably going to come up with a pretty much a net zero. I would look at what can you do, maybe with some of the theme parks, offering like walking tours, but you got to, get those stories, do the research, get the right people, pair up with a big company like that, like those big, theme park companies that could really pump out a whole lot of people and maybe help them sell another tour in their portfolio. Theme parks, especially Disney and now Universal, are always looking for, how can I sell the inventory of one park that I have 2 times a day, or even up to 3 times a day, as Disney is very much trying to accomplish. So that might be an opportunity as well, but they could just as easily do it themselves. The stories are out there. The research is out there. They just have to invest in it and then implement it and then kind of tuck it in. And hey, it ends up being an extra $150,000, $250,000 a year added to the bottom line. Not so bad. I think it's going to be hard for them to get a deal here, $250,000 for 15%.
You're doing, and I think it's great passion and interest for you, but I agree with everything that Jason said, and for those reasons, I'm out.
Well, we appreciate your advice.
Absolutely.
The more I listen to you on what your plan is, the more confused I am. But it just dawned on me that I think you're doing what usually puts most of my entrepreneurs out of business. It's falling in love with the next rainbow before you finish the last rainbow.
Yeah.
You really haven't given us anything concrete that makes us feel like your core business has been profitable, consistent, before you go on to something else. So for that reason, I'm out. Yeah.
Look, guys, you have to be more concrete, to Barbara's point. If you were to come out here and said, we're good at these tours, we know how to double them, there's 1,400 of them, and we want to buy the top 100. If you would have been very specific in that strategy, that might have gotten my interest, but it was a little bit all over the map, so for those reasons, I'm out.
And to give up 15%.
Okay, because we have not broken into merchandise yet. Number one, we got a sweet logo. That logo's gonna look great on t-shirts.
You are not in the merchant. You are in the tour business.
You did not listen to my advice.
I'll tell you the trouble I'm having with this deal. I think you asked for too much money. I'm so intrigued with it. It's so unique. The trouble is it's $250,000, $250,000.
Yes.
Yeah, you
So I
can't
have
just
to
take a
make
flyer.
that back. Now my options are, I give you the $250 or I buy another watch. And most of my watches appreciate in value. That's what happens. And that's the only reason I work, is to buy more watches, and sometimes give it to guys like you. But you're riskier than a new watch. If this was 50 or a Hunsky, maybe.
A Hunsky.
And it's not clear to me how I 10x on this. I got to make $2.5 million. That's what we do at Shark Tank. We want winners.
It's a $500 million industry, though.
Yeah, but you're nowhere near a place to spin enough cash so that every month I get my $25,000 in distributions. It's a service business. We're not going to take it public. It's got to spin cash so that I can wet my beak. I don't want to ghost the money. I give it to you and say, bye, money, bye, never see you again.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm out.
Good luck, guys. Congrats on what you've
All right.
accomplished.
Well, I think you guys missed out on the next $1 million tourism company.
For your sake, I hope you're right.
When you call us next time, it'll be $250 for 10%.
Good luck, guys. I don't feel disappointed at all. Who in our line of work doesn't want to feel what it feels like to be torn apart by sharks?
But like ghosts, we'll always come back. Now we can use this place as a location on
Oh, look at that. The evaluation was a grave mistake.
our haunted history tours because we're the victims of a true crime.
Oh, yes. Look, it's tough. We see it here in the comments that people will go on about how, they're all billionaires and it's not that much money and blah, blah, blah. But like, as Mr. Wonderful just put it, like, I could go buy a watch and that will appreciate in value enough and while I enjoy the watch, I'm not stuck to, this company. I have to worry about whether or not they're going to make money from it, right? Let alone 10x, as the famous Grant Cardone, 10x everything, right? It wants to enable it to happen with any amount of business that you're at. Just 10x. It's all good. 10x. Yeah. Okay. So it's a very real amount of money, and 15% is not enough. And 200. I mean, at the just in the one example that they had, it's not going to buy, like, what is that going to buy them? Two walking tours. And then they're still going to be in the same problem that they have now, which is they need more money to grow it. And I guess they didn't have specific businesses or walking tours that they had identified that they wanted to invest in. So that's where it kind of seemed like it went off the rails for them. But let's check it out. So your next paranormal experience is in California, Hawaii, Illinois, Louisiana, Maine. Maine. It's terrible what happened up there. Minnesota, Puerto Rico, Wisconsin. True stories, expert guides, entertaining tours. So you're looking at $35, $25, $49, depending on where your tour is, at specifically, where that tour is. So check out Facebook. So over on Facebook, we have 7,600 likes, which I feel like that should probably be a little bit higher, especially for Facebook, given the people that would probably go on a walking tour. Maybe the other ones have more more followers. Not a whole lot of engagement, unfortunately, but we see that a lot here on Facebook. Over on Instagram, 1,871 followers. I feel like they get a stronger social media presence could potentially go a longer way. Here, 25 likes for their Shark Tank. There's a post about being on Shark Tank. I mean, I like the fact that Shark Tank is bringing different types of businesses into the fold. Again, having people's faces is always a plus. You definitely see where more people like posts when you see faces. Over on Twitter, you got 104 followers over there. You got YouTube, which has 107 subscribers. 3 months ago was the last post, 53 views, 109 views. That's a little small. Sorry, I'm using the 4K screen now, so I got to zoom things in when I view it. But TikTok, 2,072 followers, 7,332 likes. I feel like that should be so much bigger. True people love true stories and true crime stories and stuff like that, ghost stories. I feel like this just if you got that aspect, like, you could grow it so much faster, because you get that social media cranking, you're gonna have people calling you. I mean, now that this has been on Shark Tank, you're probably gonna have that, but I feel like you would have a lot more people calling you saying, hey, I got a ghost story, I want to sell, let me sell it to you for a cool $150,000 or so. Just saying. Maybe Michael will be giving him a call. Anyway, I'd like Allison, Mike, I'd love to have you come on the show for an interview. Just drop a comment down below, like this one from Aquarius, who said this will definitely take off. Everyone is looking for the next fun thing to do, not just for families, but also I could see this being a date night thing, or even just for the heck of it. I'd go in a heartbeat. By the way, love the costume, Joe, and the green heart. Thank you so much, Aquarius. I appreciate you being a part of the super community. Glad you enjoyed the costume. It's been fun to be able to do something a little different. Mustache is here for at least until the end of November, and or until my wife gets had enough of it. But anyway, I appreciate you watching till the end. Take care. Go be super. Happy Halloween.
Something they just asked for too much money. 50 I would have given them.
I mean, they should have asked for 50 because they would have been lucky to have you.
Is that Mindy from casting? Boy, she looks bad.
I think she looks better.
Every Anytime there's a bad deal, this shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
She's upset we're not making more deals.
You need a throat lozenge?
Oh, stop. So bad. What have I done to deserve this?
Don't look at me, baby.
And that's lunch.
Calling all high school.
Oh man, that was great. You know, they did such a I should have mentioned this earlier. They did such a great job this year with their with the video or the set layout for Halloween. Great A plus job. A plus job. Keep it up. Do it for more holidays. It'd be good to see.